Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the next step in our training, step number 4 for the GDC City Director Program. Welcome, everyone. You know, this is a kind of a special one for me. This is a very important lesson called the 90-Day Story. And I'm telling you something, if you get this idea and you implement it, you will make a lot of money, okay? The 90-day story. So the whole point of the first 90 days is that you create a story, something memorable. You accomplish something much better when you are starting a project to get in there like a dirty shirt and you just work hard and you make those first 90 days count. The first 90 days, you give it all you've got so that you can prove that it works for yourself, and more importantly, you can prove that it works for all the people that will come after you. Because the people want to know one thing. They don't care that you are a guru. They don't care that you're a millionaire. All of that's nice and dandy, but the truth is, what they care about is that you're just a normal guy that has a 90-day story. They want to know that you are normal, that you're like them, that you worked hard, that you did the program, and that in 90 days you accomplished something significant. And that is your 90-day story, your first 90-day story. And that is a killer when you're talking to people, to have a testimony, to be able to say, this is what I did in 90 days. Now, somebody else might actually do the presentations. Somebody else might be doing the explanations. But at some point, they're going to say, hey, Santino, hey, Franco, you know, what's your story? Tell the people. You just got started like less than 90 days ago, didn't you? Yes, I got started 90 days ago. Well, what did you accomplish? Well, you know, I mean, I worked for it. I mean, I didn't lazy around. I worked for it. But here's what I accomplished. There is nothing better than that to motivate people to come on board with your program. Okay? Now, we're looking for, in the City Director Program, we're looking for, you know, we call them now promoters. We can call them distributors or salesmen, but really we're now calling them promoters. We're looking for promoters who will go out and get business, who will go and talk to business owners. So if you have a story where in the first 90 days you sold some ads and you talked to some business owners and you could show that by the 90-day point, right, at the end of 90 days, you have 1 month, which is the third month. Okay? The first month you're going to do training, the second month you're going to start to implement. The third month you're really going to try to make that third month matter so that you can say, yes, I did my training. It took a while, but I did my training. I did, you know, I did some practicing in my second month. But in my third month, I really made it happen. And in my third month, I got 20 ads done myself. Now, I know you're city directors, and I know that you're not really the ones who are going to be doing the promotions and the sales and all the rest of that in the long run. But you have to have some example. You have to be an example, right? And you have to know how it works. So I'm not saying that you're going to do this every single month, but you've got to show that with reasonable amount of work, part-time effort, 20 hours a week, you could sell 20 ads in a month. That's 1 per day, working 5 days in a week. Okay. Now, if a person wants to work, you know, twice as much instead of 20 hours a week, they want to work 40 hours a week. Well, then they say to themselves, well, if I can do 20 in a month with 20 hours a week, then I can do 40 with 40 hours a week. And if I want to do a triple, I call it a triple part-time. Double part-time is really the same thing as full-time. But if I do a triple part-time, I could do 60. Okay, well then, how much money would that be? Okay, so, but people, you know, I can do the projections, I can show on all the logic and all the numbers and all the math, but having a testimony of somebody who says, yeah, I just got on board less than 90 days ago, and in my third month, I was making 20 ads a month. Okay, people will flock to you. You will have piles of promoters coming to you. But you've got to be able to prove it. And so then when we invite people to come, and I can explain the story, I can explain the business, I can show the numbers. But what's going to sell them, what's going to convince them that this works, is you. your testimony. Okay? Now, I'm going to do the same thing. You're going to do the same thing. So one of our big goals, because now we're talking about goals, setting goals for GDC, for City Director, is to sell 20 ads in 1 month. Okay? And try to do that part-time, 20 hours. Now, we're not ready there. We just started. We're still in the training session, right? And then we're going to be in the practicing session. And then in that third month, we're really going to give it. We're all going to give it. And we're going to have a story at the end of that 90 days. Okay? So that's the third month. That's going to be our major focus, is to get that story done. Okay? That's the plan up to this point. But really, selling ads to local clients is not the only thing that we do. We also do Orbit. Okay, now there's some other smaller things. We're not going to worry about the smaller things. The two big things are GDC or the Yellow Pages and the Orbit card. So now the question is, what are the goals on the Orbit side? Okay, I'm actually going to go to my Orbit website as well, my Orbit Smart Office. But I did talk about the strategy a little bit in our strategy session on the Orbit YouTube channel. But now I'm adding this here. I'm actually going to put this 90-day story in both places, on the Orbit YouTube channel as well as on this one, because really we're doing both things. Okay, and most of the time I tried to only talk about GDC on the one and Orbit on the other, but this is strategy, and so this one brings the two things together. So we're going to call it the 90-day story, and it's all about goals and accomplishing something significant and having a story to tell within 90 days. If you do that, my friends, the money will flow to you in an unending river. I'm telling you, okay? In my history, this is the only thing that really works. They are not committed to making it happen for themselves first. And when you have a personal story, it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so some of this I talked about in the strategy session on Orbit, which is in the other video, the previous video. But I'm also going to talk about it again and in more detail, so there'll be extra information here. But I want to now establish what is the goal, the 90-day goal for the Orbit side. We already know what it is for the GDC side. Now we're going to talk about the Orbit side. Now, with Orbit, you know that what we're doing is we're bringing Orbit together with GDC, with Yellow Pages, right? So we know, right, don't we? If you don't understand this yet, you need to understand this. That Orbit is really just another product, even though it's a separate company, it's a separate office, smart office online. In reality, it's just another product that we are offering to local clients. So sometimes when we're talking to a local client, we're saying, hey, do you want a shortcut to Google page 1 rankings? And they're like, wow, yeah, you bet, okay, and I can do it for a lot less than what you would normally pay for, and we have a shortcut that works with Yellow Pages. Oh, wow, what's that all about? And they're interested. And then afterwards, we would talk about Orbit. Oh, yeah, we have a digital business card as well with all of these features and an Orbit Club and an Orbit Academy, and it's fantastic, and here's an example, and here's a free Orbit for you, and a free Orbit card for you. You can check it out, okay? So we can come with that afterwards. But in other cases, we will talk about the Orbit card first. That's where we're going to get a lot of our business. This is really the primary way that we're going to get businesses to talk to us, is that we're going to be offering businesses a couple of things, but one of the things that we're offering businesses is free digital card. And if they like it, then we start a relationship, and then we can introduce the Yellow Pages concept, shortcut to Google ranking behind that, as well as other things that we have, like the UBITS application and the YTC marketplace, as well as some other things that we're adding just for the United States. Okay, so Orbit could be first and Yellow Pages could be second, or Yellow Pages could be first and Orbit can be second. Both ways work, and we will be doing both. But at the beginning, we'll be starting with Orbit. So Orbit is important. Now, I've been in Orbit. I started with all of this about a month and a half ago. more or less. I guess the end of the month might be closer to 2 months. Doesn't matter. I actually didn't start doing orbit till about 10 days, 15 days ago. Okay, and in 10 or 15 days, I already have all of these ones filled. Now, obviously, I still have a lot to do over here, but I've got a fair amount of people in place, right? So Franco Capanera is right here, Santino is right here, and right here. Franco Russo is right here. My wife Veronica is here. My daughter Melanie is here. Michelle is here. Those are my daughters. And then I have myself in various positions. So here's Bertie Amsing here, but I have another Bertie Amsing here. I have a Bertie Amsing here, another one here. So I have one in Santino's, one in Franco's, because I'm going to be helping both of you as well. My wife is also in each one of you guys' places. We also have Michelle and Melanie are in each one of you guys' places, and down here as well. Because remember what I told you in the strategy session. What you want to do is you want to tell people, look, I'm part of the City Director Program. We are going to bring on promoters, 10, 12 promoters at least, probably more now that we have the new presentation. But 10, 12 promoters at least. Each one of these promoters, by definition, are also going to be part of Orbit. They have to be. It's part of the requirements that they are promoting Orbit as well as Yellow Pages, okay, GDC. And so they will, these 10 or 12 promoters are all going to be coming into this group further down. Okay? And each one of them are going to be getting 20 businesses each month, minimum, part-time, right? 20 businesses each month that buy an ad or get an Orbit. That's their job. That's their job. So we're talking about building a business in Orbit and in GDC and putting the two of them together. That's what the City Director Program is, plus some other things that I'm adding in. Okay? But that's basically what the program is. So we're going to have a lot of people on board here because the truth is that I'm the partner for the state of Florida and California. And as far as we don't have Orbit, we are allowed to use Orbit in the United States for individuals, but we don't have, the company is not yet in the United States. It's going to be there very soon. And so what we're going to be doing, I'm also now the country manager of Australia. Now, from a point of view of GDC, I'm the partner for Florida and for California. From the point of view of Orbit, I'm the country manager of Australia. Okay? Now, I probably will also become a partner for each of the provinces. There's 6 major states, actually, federated states they call them, in Australia. And then, you know, we will have, there's a lot of cities. So we'll be doing Australia as well. You're welcome to join me if you're not involved in Australia as well. But the point is, Australia or the United States, we're putting the two programs together. Okay? So if I have 150 cities in Florida and 150 cities in California, and by the way, this is good for you too. You've got to understand this. Okay? You have to understand this. Right? It's good for you too because you came in first. It's good for Franco Capanera. It's good for Santino D'Angelo. It's good for Franco Russo. It's good for the people who come in as city directors, as well as people who will come in for free. Because I'm going to be putting my goal, right, is 150 cities from Florida, 150 cities from California in the next 3 years. City directors. Each city director is going to have 10 or 12 promoters or more. And each promoter is going to do 20 businesses or more per month. And all of those people are required to sign up in Orbit and pay for it. They are paid customers. And they want to be paid customers. Because this is a great business concept. And so we will be selling that concept to these people. So down below, we're going to have a lot of paid customers. And that money flows up to us. Now, I told you that if that's what we're planning to do, and I'm not even talking about Australia yet, okay, or the rest of the United States, or Canada, right? If that's what we're going to do, don't you want to get the people that you love the most in here into free positions as quickly as possible? Well, yes. That's why I have my wife in here, I have Melanie in here, I have Michelle in here. You know, I have my students in here. I have my friends in here. I have Juan Diego is here. Juan Gomida is here. You know, Franco Caponera got Andrea and Mateo Guzman and his friend Pedro Quinelli and Florencia and Fernando Blanco, and you know, he got a bunch of people in here on Santino's side and on Franco's side, and he's going to get a few more. I think he's going to be putting a few more over here on Santino's side as well. Why? Because Santino is, they call it in Spanish, they call it a shark, but in English we call it a whale, right? Because Santino and Franco are city directors. Therefore, by definition, they are whales. Whales means people who get things done, people who build businesses, people who are taking it seriously, people who are working it. Okay? So if you hear them say shark, you know, sometimes that has a negative connotation in English, but, you know, shark or whale, we call them whales in English. You are a whale. I am a whale. But my wife is not really going to do anything. And my daughter's probably not much either. Okay? So that's all right because I love them. They're my friends. They're my family. And so I'm going to get as many of my family and friends in there with more than one position, because if you don't understand it yet, a free position can make money. It can make up to, if we're talking about in a year or two from now, you know, a free position can make up to $100 a week. You know, at the beginning it's small amounts, $2 here, $2 there, $2 here, $2 there. Okay, for a free position. But they didn't do anything. All they did was get a position. If they got 3 positions, it would be 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. As later on, things are starting to percolate and the businesses are starting to work, and we as city directors, we need 3, 6, 9 months to get going. That's just the way business is. Okay, and I need a couple of years to get, you know, 150 from Florida and 150 from California. But that's my job. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so, and by the way, all of those 150, right, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are going to be under you, which means money is flowing up to you from my work. That's what it means to do a team build. Okay, this is exciting because we're going to be doing this anyway, so you may as well benefit from it. So therefore, you yourself should have more than one position. The first, you know, I'm going to talk about what the real strategy is, but right now, okay, you should have 3 or 4 positions at least. Call them 3 positions. I always tell people at least 3 positions. If you want more, you can have more. But later on, you can always add a few more later on too. Right now, get 3 positions. Okay? And you need to get 3 positions underneath yourself. So what a lot of people do is they have themselves. Santino did this by accident, but it's perfectly fine. There's Santino, and then Santino's underneath himself, and I have myself underneath on the other side. And then he already has his next level already full, right? And we're working already at the next level. For him, it would be his level 1 is full, his level 2 is full, and now he's working on his level 3. Okay, no problem, because we have infinite levels, right? But a free position can make up to $100 a week, and so if you have 3 of them, that's $300 a week. Well, that's not bad. That's all right. But we are the sharks, we are the whales, we are going to do much better than that. But for a free position, for somebody who's not doing anything, that's not a bad deal. So you say, well, okay, but can I do this for my mom, my dad? Sure. It doesn't cost them anything. They have to be over 18, right? That's it. Okay? And I showed you in the other video how to actually do that. But if you have questions, talk to me. I'll train you, no problem. Okay? It's not really hard, but I did explain it in the previous video, okay, under the strategy session. Now, on how to sign people up. Now, so you want to get yourself, you want to get, you know, your brother who's over 18, you want to get your uncle. Now, okay, so some people say, nah, I don't like that kind of stuff. Okay, who cares? Ignore them. It doesn't matter, right? My daughter Melanie didn't have time to do it, so I just used one of my own emails. I got her permission. I said, okay, can I just use my own email and I'll sign you up? And she said, oh, sure. I just don't want to bother signing up. Okay, fine. When the $2 start to come in, two. In her case, I actually paid for a pro membership, which is $25 every 6 months because she's my daughter, right? I want her to have the benefit. But, you know, even if she was just a free position, she would have $2 here, $2 there, and then she will start to ask me, say, Dad, what's that all about? I'm getting money. Yeah, well, I told you were going to get money. Well, okay, so can I get more money? You know, and yeah, I'll show you how to get more money. And then many of the free people will upgrade later on. Not all of them, many of them will. Some will be happy with $300 or $100 a week, but with 3 positions, $300. So But do what you can. You know, if somebody says, no, I'll do one, but I don't want to do three, okay, fine, whatever. You know, later on, they might say, oh, well, I should have done more. Can I do more now? Well, you can. You know, you don't have the same position early, but you can, and there will still be some benefit. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. But the point is, get people in now. So, talking, and of course, the paid position, maybe I didn't say this clear enough, but the paid position is up to $1,000 per week per position when it gets, you know, bigger. Not right away, but in a year or two. And that's for somebody who pays $25 every 6 months. And so if you pay $25 every 6 months and you make $300 a month or $1,000 a month, you know, would that be a good deal? Well, that's a very good deal. But if you don't have the position early, then you don't have that option. You can get it later, but then you miss all the people that came before you, which is, you know, too bad. It's sad because we're going to build it anyway. We're building it. That's what our job is. It's our business to build this, okay, together with GDC. Okay, so now you say to me, okay, well, that's the free person, and you just get the free people in and, you know, do the best you can. Some people will listen to you, some people won't. You're not going to give a free position necessarily to, you know, to everybody, but you're going to give free positions to you know, your friends and family. It really doesn't matter. You can give it to anybody. But then there's a question. Okay, let's say, for the sake of argument, if I'm putting in a city director, well, they don't have any choice. They're going to have a paid position. That's part of the payment that they make for the city director, and they're going to be building this. That's not a question. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that you or somebody else that you bring on board says, well, but I don't want to be a city director because I can't afford that, but, you know, but I would like to maybe do something more than just have a free position in Orbit because it looks really interesting to me. And can I do something more than just be a free member? Well, yes. And here's the strategy. Okay? And Santino kind of did it by accident a little bit. But here's the strategy. What I would say, this doesn't work for city directors because city directors, you know, are paying for a paid position right off the bat. So that doesn't matter. But if you're talking to somebody else, what I would say to them is this. Here is the strategy. Okay? You say to them, okay, you get a free position, like Santino D'Angelo right here. You get a free position. And then your goal is to get a signed up, an upgraded position, we call that pro, underneath you on the left and underneath you on the right. Okay, left and right. A pro position. Now, not an e-voucher pro, because an e-voucher pro is a bonus. You got that for free for every person that paid for their pro, $25. Not a lot of money, but anyway. But they paid $25 for their pro. You're going to get an e-voucher that you can use for somebody else, that you can say, hey, let me just upgrade you to pro with one of my e-vouchers, right? And so that's nice. It helps you to bring in some people who you know they're not going to do anything anyway. Now, if you have somebody who's going to be serious about that, then you're not going to give them the e-voucher because what they need is they need 2 paid people. Right now, Santino doesn't have a box around him. He's not qualified yet. He will be probably next week, but he's not qualified yet because he only has 1 paid person, which is himself, and 1 e-voucher. The e-voucher doesn't count towards the qualification. It counts towards the points, but not towards the qualification. Okay? And down here, we don't have any. These are all free positions. So far, all free positions. But I'm bringing people in. Santino's going to start to bring people in when he gets back from vacation. Right now, he's on vacation. It's the middle of the summer here in Argentina, and so that will come. Now, Franco, for example, Russo. Okay, he already has 2 people here, but neither of us, I have a free position, and Andrea, which is Franco's person, has a free position. All of these are already filled with free positions. It doesn't matter. Somewhere in this line, he needs somewhere, and we'll find him one. We need a person who pays $25, okay? And somewhere in this line, he needs a person that pays $25. That he brought on board, that are what we call direct to him. Now, when he has that, then he becomes qualified. Okay? So, what? And by the way, for each person that you bring on board, let's say these 2 were people that he brought on board and that paid $25 each without e-vouchers, and they became pro. Okay? So $50 came in. And then he got 1 more, either down here or up here, that did the same. So he would have 3 people. he would get a e-voucher, which is a free upgrade, worth $25. He would get an e-voucher for every pro that is direct to him. Plus he would get, and if he does it 3 times, and he gives those e-vouchers away to 3 people, when the third person activates it, he gets 3 more. So in total he gets 6 bonus e-vouchers, which is great to give to new people coming on board who you know are just going to take a free position. You upgrade them, make them feel a little bit better. They can make a little bit more money because they can now make, instead of $2 every once in a while, they make $10 every once in a while. Oh, that's nice. Hey, it's a nice little bonus. Okay, so that's good. So the e-vouchers are nice little bonuses. You give them to your free people mostly. But somebody who wants to be serious about this, the goal would be, let's use Santino up here. The goal would be for them to have a free position. And now there's 2 ways to do this. Okay, I'm going to give you the optimal way, and then I'm going to give you a secondary way. Okay, so there are 2 ways to do this. So Santino comes on board, he gets a free position. Then he himself signs up himself here and here, and he pays $25 and $25, which is $50, so that these are 2 paid pro positions. And then he brings on himself one more time down below. That's a third one. And so now he spent $75. Okay, he would get he would get a super voucher. So he would get a free e-voucher here, he would get a free e-voucher here, and he would get a free e-voucher here, because he has 3 paid positions. All of them are direct to him because it's himself. Santiago, Santiago, and Santiago. He now has his 3 positions plus this one. He's got 4 positions. That's an ideal situation. He paid $75. This is what happens when you become a city director. So you don't have to worry about this right now, Santino, Franco. You don't have to worry about that because you already have that. I just haven't implemented it yet, but you already have that. Okay? And like I say, it doesn't have to be right here. It can be anywhere down here, and the next one can be anywhere down here. So as long as it's one on the right side and one on the left side, it doesn't really matter where it is. A bunch of free ones can come in between. No big deal. You can have a bunch of e-vouchers in between. No big deal. But sooner or later, one on one side, one on the other side, plus another one on the other side, all direct to you, all in your name. That's the ideal situation. Okay? Now that costs you $75. In your case, you paid for that with your city director. Okay? With your city director program, you paid for that. So that qualifies you for 6 vouchers that you can give away to free people to motivate them, right? Especially to motivate them and say, hey, I'll give you a free e-voucher if you can get me 3 or 4 more free ones. You make it a little bit of a game and say, I'll tell you what, if you get signed up yourself in 3 positions or 4 positions, and you get your wife signed up in 3 or 4 positions, I'll give you an e-voucher that will upgrade you to pro. In fact, you say for each person that gets 3 positions, right? I just say 3 instead of 4, but 3 positions. I would say it this way: 3 positions underneath them, so them plus 3 positions, right, in their own name, wherever in their group. If you put 3 positions, they can all be free. Then I will make your original one an e-voucher, and I will upgrade your original one. Okay? Now they can be free. Now he's not qualified because they're all free. But that's sort of your minimum thing. Now you say, okay, and so that's what we use the e-vouchers for. The e-vouchers are there to motivate people to get free positions. Okay? Now, you say, okay, now we've got somebody who says, okay, I like the free positions and I like the e-voucher, so you can e-voucher me. I got my 3 positions, and you can e-voucher my wife because she got 3 positions, and you can e-voucher my uncle because he got 3 positions. Okay? Perfect. Now, you say, okay, but what about the paid position thing? What about getting qualified? Yeah, you need 2 paid positions, somewhere on the left hand, somewhere on the right. You need 1 on each side to qualify. And you need a second one either on the left or the right to get the super e-voucher so that you can give them away. Right? You can't promise them unless you have them. So you got to get them. Okay. Now you say, yeah, but I don't know if I want to pay $75. Now in your case, you already paid it. I mean, it's part of your city directorship program. But let's say you're talking to somebody who's not a city director. Do they want to pay $75 to do that? Well, if they're going to be serious about the business, if they want to build the business, why wouldn't they do that? Now they're not building the city director program. They're not doing yellow pages. They don't have the possibility of all the rest of the stuff that we're doing, which is going to be very lucrative. They're only doing Orbit, but Orbit's pretty nice. It's still good. So if you have somebody who says, well, I can't do city director, but I would still like to do Orbit. It looks really interesting to me. Well, then you just tell them, look, you should have actually about $100 to get really going in Orbit properly. Okay, and so actually $100 of your money that you are giving me for city director is being applied to your Orbit account. Why? Because you need $75 for the 3 positions underneath you. You're going to get an e-voucher from me for, or Franco, whoever it is that invited you, for your original position. Okay, and then you also need a little bit of money for the e-vouchers, because to activate the e-vouchers you need to pay the taxes on each one, which is $2.50. And so if you have 6 times $2.50, you know, it's $15 more or less that you need to have, and then having an extra $10 in your account is always good. Okay, so I would say to somebody, look, $100 and you can get this business going, right? And then after that, it's just talking to people, telling them what's going on. And your friends who may not want to do the city director program, they can leverage the whole idea that we're doing the city director program. This is a very special group that we have here. I mean, other people are doing something similar, but we are really taking this seriously. And you know, your friends who are wanting to build the Orbit business can say, hey, you know, we're part of, let's say it's Santino or Franco or Franco Caponera, Franco Russo, or whoever it is. We're part of their you know, city director program, and so there's a lot of people going to be coming on board. So we need to get in before all of those people come on board. Okay, they can use the same story, which is true. Okay, and so that is a great way to motivate people to come in. And you want to do this. You want to fill this out. You actually have 2 ways to do it, not 1 way. Okay. The 2 ways to do it, the first way, which is the most sure and the fastest, is for you to simply pay the $100, get 2 positions underneath you, and then a 3rd position underneath you, and with a little bit of extra money to pay for some taxes for the e-vouchers, and bang, you're off and running. You know, you're doing really good. Now, you already paid it, and that's what you're going to be doing, but that's one thing, is to do it when you're paying for yourself. Now, somebody who comes to you and says, well, I'm not part of the city director program, do I really have to pay the $100? No, you don't. Okay, that's a really ideal way to do it, because now you have 4 positions. You know, that's very, very good. But you don't have to do it that way. You can find 3 people instead of be the 3 people. You can find 3 people. Oh, my brother, he's willing to pay $25, and my sister's willing to pay $25, and my uncle is willing to pay $25. Well, put your uncle underneath your sister, and put your sister and your brother underneath you, and you know, get the $25 from each one of them, and show them how to do that. You have to learn how to do that online. You just pay for it. You can pay for it with a debit card. You can pay for it with a credit card. You can pay for it with, you know, a variety of things. You can, you know, give the money to me, and then I will pay for it. You know, there's lots of different ways of doing it, but you know, you don't have to do it yourself. That's the optimal position to be in. Frankly, certainly I would spend $100 doing that. But if you don't have it, you can still get it done, okay? You know, accomplish being qualified and getting your super voucher. You can still get it done by using other people, you know, by bringing other people on board and saying, hey, you do 25, you do 25, you do 25, right? And then you put your own 25 in there, even though you're going to get an e-voucher, so you have a little bit of extra money to work with to pay for the e-vouchers. Okay, now you're off and running. Okay, so you can do it yourself, which is ideal, or you can do it with other people, or you can do both, right? But that's the plan there. So let me talk about what is the 90-day story that I'm going to create, that I'm introducing to you and saying to you, you can create this as well. Okay? So looking at this sheet, right here, they only show 5 levels. Not that there are 5 levels. There's lots of levels. It's infinite levels. But there are 5 levels that show up right here from me down. If we were looking at yours, Franco, it would be from you down. Okay? You wouldn't see any of Santino's. You wouldn't see any of these over here. We just see yours. Okay? But if I'm looking at mine, I have 5 levels. There's 62 positions here. My goal in 90 days is to fill up all 62 positions. Okay? And my goal is to have 10 people qualified with their super vouchers. Okay? Qualified is with 2. Super vouchers is with 3. Okay? So right now, I'm qualified. Franco's qualified. My wife will be qualified tomorrow. My 2 daughters will be qualified this week. So right there, you know, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Franco and Santino will be qualified probably this week. Okay, so that's 6. And then one of these 7, one of these 8, one of these 9, and one of these 10. So there's 10 that I'm going to get qualified. Now the truth is that I don't care if they're here or if they're here or if they're here. But in my visual genealogy, I want, besides myself, obviously I have to be qualified. I'm already qualified and I'm already super vouchered. Okay, I already have 2 qualified, with a third one for sure today or tomorrow, and 1, 2, 3, 4 this week. So that's 4, 5, 6 besides myself, 6 qualified people probably this week, and I'm into not even a month yet. So can you do this? Sure, it's not even hard. But the point is, it's got to get done. Okay, so Franco Russo needs to get on the ball and get a couple positions underneath him, and I'll work with him. But they're already paid positions. We just need to get it done, and then he needs to get his girlfriend, get his mother, get his best friend. I don't know who, but get a couple more of them in there as well. But at least do himself and his significant other, right? Get them in there. That's going to help fill out his. It's also going to help fill out mine. So that's the plan. And so your 90-day story is to say to people, on the one hand, hey, GDC works because I got 20 ads sold in my 3rd month. I mean, obviously I had to take some time to learn it, and I had to take some time to practice it, and we do a bunch of free ads to get started, and then we actually have to implement in the 3rd month. Now, in 90 days with Orbit, I filled up this whole thing. And I had 10 qualified, maybe 12, maybe 14, maybe who knows, but at least 10 qualified. And those 10 qualified all got super vouchered. And they used the super voucher to motivate other people to get at least 3 positions each. Okay? So that works really, really well. So that is the goal of the Orbit side, is to fill this all out, to get 10 or 12 or 14 or 15, whatever, qualified with super vouchers. Get people set up, get them working. Get more people, fill out your area. This is what matters, okay? Now, this is all the family and friends stuff because we are going to build out the city director. So you're really only going to do the family and friend thing once. I mean, sure, later on when you start making money, perhaps a couple of other people will come to you and say, hey, can I do this? Now, because you're city directors, you have a built-in way to bring a lot of people on board who are going to pay, okay? Because you're doing it as a business. But people who are just with their personal friends and family, they may continue on. They might want to build this up and build this up and build this up because they don't have a city directorship way of doing it. And so they will have, if they want to build up their own area, they'll get some real benefit from the city directors that we put underneath them. But they may themselves want to continue on with family and friends and people that they meet. And we have some strategies for them as well that they can use: internet marketing, email marketing. There's a number of different things. Mainly, the main way, I'll just mention it right now, but we will have a whole video on these things. But the main way that we get people, and we do this with the city directors too, okay, is you just simply send a free digital card to everybody that you know, right? And say, hey, here's my free digital card. This is information for you. And if you want one for yourself, then at the bottom of my free digital card, you can just click and you can get a free digital card for yourself, right? And then you can contact them later and say, and we will have a way to do this where you can say, hey, now you have the free card. If you want to make a little bit of money with it, you can, and you want to send your free card to people, you may as well make a little bit of money with it. You need to sign up on the marketing side, and we'll show you how to do that. It's free, right? So, but you can make a little bit of money with that. And if you're going to send out your card to people anyway for free, because you have a card, you want to send it out for free to people, then you may as well make some money with it. Okay? So that's an easy way to do it. We as city directors, we may not do that as much. I mean, we will be sending free digital cards to people, but mostly to businesses. Whereas the other type of people who are not city directors, they probably would be sending their free digital cards to personal people, right? Because they're not necessarily in business, unless they are in business. Maybe they have a business where they work with businesses. Okay, well then great. They can give it to a business. You walk into a business, you say, hey, can I give you my Orbit? And you send it over to them. Can you give me your Orbit? Oh, you don't have an Orbit? Well, click on the bottom of my Orbit and you can get one for yourself, and then we can exchange Orbits. Right? It's fantastic. Very easy to do. You just do that while you're going through your day. Okay, so it's very, very easy to build this business. But we have an accelerator, a motor with the City Director program that is, second to none. It's really quite good. So those are the two stories that we want to create in the first 90 days. Okay, the first story is, this is what I did in Orbit. Fantastic. Not just qualified, not just e-vouchered, super vouchered. Okay, but I filled up this whole area with 62 people because I helped other people do the same thing. Not just, I have 10 qualified, 62 and 10 qualified. So let's call it 3 different levels. The free level, just one position, or maybe possibly 3 positions plus that 1 position, themselves and 2 others, whatever, but free positions, okay? The second level is some paid positions where you get qualified and you get a super voucher, okay? So that's somebody who's a little bit more serious, whether they pay for it themselves, the $100, or whether they split it up between 3 or 4 people, okay? 3 other people plus themselves, 4 people, okay? $25 a piece. That's another possible way to do it, okay? So that second level is where you're getting qualified and you're getting super vouchered. And then the third level is really more for serious builders. Certainly the city managers are going to do this, but also other people can do this as well. They can make it their goal. And that is where you get all 62 positions filled and you get at least 10 qualified with their super vouchers in 90 days. Okay, so that's the goal. Now, if somebody says to you, well, did you accomplish that? You want to be able to say, yes, I did. In fact, I did it in 62 days. Wow! If you can do it, Franco, Santino, Melanie, Michelle, Veronica, whoever, well, I can do it too. Yeah, you have to pay attention. You got to do the work. Nobody's going to take that away from you. But if I do the work, I want to know that it works. Yeah, well, I did the work and it works. Okay, well, how much money are you making? Well, that depends on when they're talking to you. If they're talking to you in the next 3 months or 6 months, maybe not a lot. But this is a business. You have to build it up. Okay, but if you have 62 people in your group, you're going to make a pile of money. Okay, you just have to be patient. That's just, and then for us as city directors, that's just one of many things that we do. And by the way, it has its own motor, and it will just keep on going by itself. Okay, so those are the 3 things. The free level, either with only 1 position or with 3 positions. The level of being qualified with a super voucher, a little bit more serious. And then the third one, which city directors for sure are going to be doing, but also other people may want to do as well, which is 62 people, 10 qualified with their super vouchers. That's the goal for 90 days. If you accomplish that, people will love you. Now that's on the Orbit side. On the GDC side, we are going to show them that we can do 20 ads every month. By the way, think about it. The 20 ads that you're going to do, plus some practice ones in the second month, they're all going to be doing Orbit. And where are they going to land? They're going to land on your Orbit genealogy. And so you will be able to show people, and you will be able to say, as you're building this out, maybe your entire level 5, may be full of business people that you sold ads to. Now you say, well, I don't know if I can sell ads in Florida if I'm in Argentina. It doesn't matter. You can sell them in Argentina. I also am the city director of San Isidro and Mar del Plata. You can sell them here if you want to. It doesn't matter to me where you sell them at the beginning, right, to make this 90-day program, because maybe 90 days is too fast to really get things going in Florida. So what we do is we do it. We can do it here in Argentina, no problem. So because a number of my people are from Argentina that are wanting to buy city directorship in Florida so that they can move to Florida, or maybe they're already in Florida, right? If they're already in Florida, they just do it there. But if they happen to be physically here, maybe they do it here. We'll just see. Well, there's a number of strategies that we can use for that. Okay? So this is the 90-day story, and as you can tell, I'm quite excited by it because this is what I'm going to accomplish, and this is what I'm expecting my city directors to accomplish, and anybody else that they're talking to that wants to take it seriously, that's what I would encourage them to accomplish as well. Later on, I will create a PowerPoint based on all of this, and we'll put the PowerPoint on this one as well so that you can see it, and it will be written down, okay, so that we can have our goals written down. Okay, well, good. That's enough for today. This is the power of the 90-day story. Okay, and it will give you dividends for years and years to come. I still, with the last comment, I still can talk. Once when I did my 90-day story for another company in Calgary many years ago, I made $40,000 in a 2-week period within my first 90 days. Okay, now do you think that helped me make a lot of money? Yes, it did. You can do that? Yes, you can. You have to work. You have to do the work. A lot of people just want to know, you know, if I do the work, will I make the money? Well, yes. If you do the work, you'll make the money. And so that takes that barrier out of it. And then they join and they get to work, and away you go. That's how you build the motor, the motivation of a business. And that's true on the GDC side when you're working with promoters, and it's true on the Orbit side when you're working with other orbiters. Okay? Well, that's all for now. Enjoy, get yourself organized, figure it out. Figure out how to sign people up, figure out how to do it right, and get the job done, get qualified, get your 3 positions for free, then get qualified, and then get your super voucher, and then fill up your 62 and get 10 people qualified with their super vouchers in the first 90 days, and you will never stop making money. Okay? Quite exciting. Quite exciting. And then do the same thing on the GDC side. Get your 20 in, because that helps you on your Orbit side, and it helps you to sell for the promoters on the other side. Okay? Good enough for today, and I will see you in the next video.